Omkar, next I want to talk a little bit about there's a growing interest in hybrid manufacturing strategies. And we do cover hybrid manufacturing strategies on Cell and Gene quite a bit, but that term can mean very different things depending on the company. So what does hybrid actually mean in practice today?
Took me a second to get off mute, and when you asked the question about the poll, and I'll try to weave it into the response to this question as well, because scaling from clinical to commercial, 50% of the audience is agreeing with that. I would have expected even more, because that is the biggest challenge that I've observed. And as you actually scale from clinical to commercial, a lot of the companies that I've helped with, they talk about how do we bring in a hybrid manufacturing model, right? And so let's actually level set a little bit on that term, because I do know hybrid is one of the most overused but underdefined words when it comes to CGT manufacturing, right? So in practice, I've seen at least, I would say, 4 different archetypes of what hybrid manufacturing could be, right? So you have an asset level hybrid, which is one asset manufactured internally and another outsourced because it has it's a different modality or a demand profile or risk level, whatever it may be. So it's asset level hybrid. Second one is a process step hybrid, which is very strategic and sensitive steps within process development or analytics or certain release tests are kept in-house, while some capacity heavy steps are outsourced to a CMO. The third archetype I've seen is a network hybrid, where you have a central commercial sort of facility for the primary market that you're serving, and then you have regional partners across. And the fourth one is the life cycle hybrid, which is you outsource initial clinical supply, internalize late stage and launch, and then you selectively sort of re-externalize overflow capacity. And I've seen all these models play out, and depending on what stage of development you are, between early clinical to pivotal to commercial, you ought to be able to flex around a little bit with each of these, because each of these is a legitimate strategy. But what is not a strategy is what I call fragmented hybrid, right? Multiple vendors, inconsistent processes, different data standards, no proper use of digital technology across these different manufacturing partners. And that model creates more complexity than either a fully centralized or a fully outsourced approach. And that is a common mistake that I've seen in the industry. So hybrid, I like to use this analogy, that hybrid done right is a jazz ensemble, right? Different instruments, but one conductor, one score. Hybrid done wrong is a traffic jam with everyone just honking. And that's the way I see it.
Great analogy. Great analogy. I want to address a question that has come in from our audience. Nasrin has asked, for emerging cell and gene therapy companies, what capabilities should never be outsourced, even when manufacturing itself is outsourced to a CDMO? And I would invite either one or both of you to respond to Nasrin's question.
Happy to, unless Zoe, you want to go first.
Question 2?
Yes, from Nasrin.
Okay. So
for emerging cell and gene therapy companies, what capabilities should never be outsourced, even when manufacturing itself is outsourced to a CDMO?
Typically, the deep knowledge, right? So you should always retain that part of the process knowledge within the company. And, it's always a balance you have to achieve. Make sure you retain all those key analytics process, proprietary technologies, and as well as the testing side. So that's from my end.
I love that, Zoe. I was going to, you talked about the knowledge base, not the execution, knowledge to be retained, the analytical strategy, real-time decision-making, keep it close to your chest. The other piece, and I've actually seen one company do this, is the supply chain orchestration. So knowing exactly where patient material is at a given point, what state it is in, what happens if something goes wrong, that can never live in a CDMO system. I've seen this happen at least in one instance, and I've seen some pros to it, but a lot of risks behind it. In my opinion, that has to live with you. Everything else, negotiable.
Thank you both for answering Nazrin's question. That's terrific. We did have one other question come in from Chris, and again, inviting both of you to provide your thoughts if you'd like. How do you think FDA will respond to donor variability in allogeneic cell therapies as products move closer to commercial? Omkar, I see you thinking.
Yeah, I'm not too close to the regulatory side on the donor side. That's a good question.
That's okay. We can always come back to it later. Chris, thank you for your question. That was, and please do, of course, continue to submit your questions to us, and we will get to them or respond to them later as we go through our discussion.